This is Bobby Deol behind the DJ console in 2016. This is the same man who is now delivering the most raw, unfiltered performance of his entire career in Anurag Kashyap's Bandar.
मुझे अब तक इतना ही समझ में आया है कि हम खुद ही अपनी सर्कस के बंदर हैं.
But this video is not about the movie review of Bandar. What I want to tap into is a much bigger question. How did Bobby Deol go from this to this and now this? Let's go back to 1995. The Deol family already rules Hindi cinema with an iron grip. Dharmender sir stands as a living legend. Sunny Deol completely dominates the loud action genre with his massive screen presence. People naturally expect the youngest son to follow that same macho blueprint. Bobby Deol does something entirely different. His debut film Barsaat introduces a fresh visual aesthetic to the big screen. Instead of flexing huge muscles or shouting dialogue, the guy shows up with long curly hair and tinted sunglasses. He looked more like a grunge rock star than a polished Bollywood hero. And honestly, that was exactly the point. And it made him an instant hit with the younger crowd. Fast forward to 1997, the thriller Gupt propels his career to a new level. That gripping murder mystery turns him into the coolest actor in the industry. The soundtrack is memorable, the jacket becomes iconic. The next year, Soldier is released and becomes an instant hit. The late 90s and the early 2000s saw this momentum translate into movies like Ajnabi and Humraaz, which proved that playing characters with dark grey shades is his true strong suit. Audiences buy movie tickets purely to watch his effortless slow motion walks, and Bobby Deol gives a hit every year. But this is the thing about Bollywood, and pay attention because this is where it gets brutal. The early 2000s brought a massive change to Indian cinema. Multiplexes start opening across the country. A new generation of directors starts making entirely different kinds of movies. The classic 90s masala films begin to lose their wide appeal very fast. Safe career choices that once guaranteed box office gold are no longer connecting with these new viewers. The massive hit songs dry up. Bobby's towering superstar status begins to fade. This decline, it happens slowly at first, but then all at once. Past success means very little if your current weekend releases fail to make money. Producers stop offering him the big solo projects. This harsh reality pushes him down the ladder much faster than anyone could have predicted. Finding himself stuck in a transitional phase of cinema without a clear roadmap is terrifying. The charming hero persona that worked so well in Soldier does not fit the new realistic narratives. The Khans are busy doing romantic dramas, Govinda is doing loud comedies, Bobby Deol carved out a niche as a stylish action thriller guy, and when that specific genre dies down, his primary footing disappears completely. The industry moves forward rapidly and it simply leaves him behind.
What's the best advice you've gotten from your father and from your brother?
My dad always said, stay healthy, happy and strong. First, be a good human being, be down to earth and be true to yourself. And I truly took it very seriously.
The mid-2000s introduced a rough patch that nobody saw coming. Scripts become incredibly weak and the execution is often worse. Taking on roles in highly forgettable movies does serious damage. And I want you to notice something specific here. These are not just bad films, these are projects that fundamentally do not understand what Bobby Deol brings to the screen. They slot him into these generic angry man templates when his entire appeal was the effortless cool, the grey shade charm. It is like casting a jazz musician in a heavy metal band and wondering why it sounds off. Audiences have completely stopped showing up to theaters for his solo releases. The box office numbers take a massive dive. Meanwhile, the rapid rise of multiplex cinema brings in the wave of new indie directors telling grounded, realistic stories. The traditional macho action hero takes a backseat to relatable, everyday characters. Adapting to this shifting landscape proves extremely difficult for a huge 90s star. But here is a part that honestly matters most. Looking back on this specific phase, Bobby openly admits to having gotten far too complacent, assuming his massive stardom would naturally stick around without putting in extra effort. In simpler terms, he thought the wave would carry him forever. It didn't. The phone eventually stops ringing for big solo lead projects. We suddenly see him taking part in loud multi-starrer comedies like Thank You and the Yamla Pagla Divana sequels. Getting lost in the crowded background of those films hurts his personal brand even more. Being the main attraction is no longer an option. Blending into a chaotic ensemble cast becomes a new normal. His self-confidence takes a massive hit during this frustrating period. The bright spark in his eyes vanishes entirely. You can clearly see a total lack of interest in his body language. This heavy emotional toll leads to a long and painful disappearance from the public eye. Spending years sitting at home makes him deeply doubt his own acting talent. Turning to alcohol to cope with the isolation and the pain of a fading career makes things worse. The fast-paced film industry moves on quickly and essentially forgets about his existence. New actors take over the spotlight, critics and producers write him off entirely. The industry does something brutal. It labels him as finished. Media coverage stops entirely. Paparazzi stop taking his photos. His most dedicated fans are left wondering what exactly went wrong with their favorite childhood star. A sheer lack of meaningful work and growing mental distress mark the absolute darkest phase of his entire life. Watching the industry celebrate new stars while sitting idle at home builds up constant frustration. Feeling completely disconnected from the craft of filmmaking breaks down his ego completely. Desperate to find a new purpose and stay relevant, Bobby Deol tries something and it becomes a painful misstep. In a completely unexpected turn of events, news comes out that Bobby Deol is doing a DJ gig at a high-profile nightclub in New Delhi. And this wasn't true as confirmed by the actor in multiple interviews.
मैं कोई इवेंट पे गया था और वो इवेंट वालों ने कहा कि आप डीजे कंसोल के पीछे खड़े हो जाइए और ऐसे लगना चाहिए कि आप म्यूजिक प्ले कर रहे हैं. सबने मेरे मजाक उड़ाने लग गए और मैं डीजे था ही नहीं, मैं डीजे आता ही नहीं मुझे.
But in 2016, the internet did what the internet does. People buy highly expensive tickets to see what a former movie star will do behind a complex mixing console. Everyone expects a glamorous celebrity appearance. The highly anticipated night arrives and it quickly turns into a complete disaster. Reports flood the news the very next morning with embarrassing details. Attendees claim his own hit songs from Gupt played on a continuous loop for hours. An angry club crowd demands their ticket money back. The club owners express pure frustration over the messy situation to the press. The internet can be an incredibly cruel place, and by morning, Bobby Deol becomes heavily trolled. Meme creators show absolutely zero mercy to the fallen star. Random clips from his old movies suddenly go viral for the wrong reasons. Trolls ruthlessly mock his acting abilities. Highlighting his signature awkward dance moves and turning them into looping clips has become a massive trend. But now notice what Bobby Deol does next, or rather what he doesn't do. Through all this intense noise and daily humiliation, Bobby Deol chooses to stay completely silent. Refusing to fight back against the online mob saves him from further embarrassment. Quietly absorbing the heavy hits becomes his only coping mechanism.
What do you think of the Lord Bobby phase now?
That's the most sweetest thing that my fans have done for me. There was a time when I was being trolled and there was this group of fans fought with those people who were trolling me. That's how I got that name, Lord.
The daily jokes continue, but then something strange starts to happen, and honestly, nobody saw this coming. The overall tone begins to shift. It moves from harsh mockery to something else entirely, something that looks a lot like genuine appreciation. Social media users start noticing very specific, highly bizarre details buried in those old viral movie clips, and pay attention because what they find is genuinely unreal. A clip surfaces showing Bobby Deol wearing wireless earbuds long before modern tech companies even invented them. It goes extremely viral. Old scenes emerge showing him hacking secure computer networks before cyber thrillers were even a popular genre in Indian cinema. These small, absurd and strangely impressive cinematic discoveries do something the industry could not. They completely flip the digital narrative overnight. The internet officially crowns him Lord Bobby. Dedicated fan pages start popping up everywhere across social media. A highly passionate group of fans calling themselves Bobbians emerges, and let me tell you, this is not a passive fan club. If anyone posts a negative comment about Bobby Deol, this loyal army floods the replies instantly to shut them down. They are aggressive, they are organized, and they are relentless. And Bobby notices every single bit of it. He starts talking openly about how humbled he feels by the unexpected support. The sudden popularity gives him a massive confidence boost. It pushes him to get his personal and professional life entirely back on track. But words are cheap in this industry. What Bobby does next is what separates him from every other fallen actor. Hitting the gym hard overhauls his physical appearance. Building a rugged, intimidating physique becomes his top priority. Quitting alcohol and focusing completely on his health changes his entire screen presence. His new look is rough, weathered, and intensely masculine. You look at this man and you see someone who has been through something. Bobby Deol drops his old superstar ego completely. Direct outreach to big directors begins, visiting production houses to specifically ask for work. That takes a level of courage most established stars do not have. Making a firm decision never to do silly comedy roles again comes with a promise to take his craft incredibly seriously, and the industry notices. immediately. Producers realize that casting him brings instant marketing buzz to any project. The Bobbians ensure that any news about his casting trends is instantly available. The Lord Bobby phenomenon proves something brutal and beautiful. Enduring the worst internet mob can actually make a person much stronger. This is a genuine grassroots movement started by people who grew up watching his films. Dedicated fans hand him a rare second life in cinema. Making sure to grab this golden opportunity with both hands becomes his only focus. Waiting patiently for the right directors to offer him something challenging pays off massively. And the role that changes everything, it is nothing like what anyone expected.
I get a message from Sandeep Reddy-Wanga saying, "Hi, I'm Sandeep Reddy-Wanga. I want to meet you for a film." He came and he showed me a picture during my Celebrity Cricket League time, and he said, "I want you because I love this expression of yours."
His massive return to the big screen comes with a highly calculated strategy centered entirely on pure acting. Now pay attention to this choice, because it is the single most important creative decision of his career. Instead of pursuing traditional romantic hero roles, he turns to a dark, gritty path as his primary focus. Playing deeply flawed and brutal villains requires a completely different approach to the craft. He has to strip away everything that made him a star to become something far more dangerous as an actor. Projects like Love Hostel show the very glimpse of this serious situation. Playing Dagar, a ruthless silent killer, allows him to strip away his usual charm. Relying purely on menacing body language and cold stares replaces loud dialogue delivery. And you can see it happening in real time, the old Bobby dissolving, something new and frightening taking his place. The hit web series Aashram takes this character work even further. And honestly, this is where the conversation shifts from comeback to reinvention. Playing a highly corrupt spiritual figure demands intense psychological acting. Manipulating the audience with a calm voice and deeply unsettling facial expressions proves his range. This is not a villain who shouts, this is a villain who smiles while destroying you. Totally redefining the modern Bollywood antagonist proves his genuine acting talent to even the toughest critics. And then comes the cultural phenomenon of Animal. Taking on the role of Abrar allows him to dominate the screen completely. And here is the insane part. He does it with a very small role and no dialogues. The impact is massive. A spectacular entry scene dancing with a glass on his head goes viral worldwide within hours. But the real magic lies in the specific acting choices, and I want you to really look at what he's doing here. Projecting pure chaos through physical energy becomes his signature move. Communicating deep grief and extreme violence simultaneously through his eyes alone, that is not star power, that is craft. Portraying a mute character who commands absolute terror in every single frame requires immense skill. This single blockbuster movie makes him a pan-India superstar all over again. Big directors start writing complex negative roles specifically tailored to this new intense acting style. And this incredible career momentum brings us right to his latest film, Bandar.
You had a phase where your career was not going very well. Did you recall that part of your life when you were playing this character?
See, what happens is because your subconscious is filled with all those moments. You know, you're not thinking of that moment, but you've experienced it.
Bandar is not just another film in his filmography. It is the destination this entire journey has been building toward. Relying on cool sunglasses or slow motion walks, that is a thing of the past. Using a massive physical frame to convey real, uncomfortable emotional vulnerability, that is the new goal. To pull this off, a heavy focus is placed on the character's internal life. You're not watching Bobby Deol play a role, you're watching a man wrestle with his most worst impulses in real time. Bringing a raw desperation to the screen that you can actually feel takes serious effort. Fully committing to the ugly and the pathetic sides of the role shows pure dedication. The specific acting techniques used here are entirely new for his career. Playing with subtle facial twitches and changing his posture to look heavier makes the performance painfully real.
मैंने कुछ नहीं किया मैं innocent हूँ.
And this is what makes the entire arc so powerful. Delivering the absolute best work of his acting career requires him to expose all his personal scars. Surviving the brutal lows of the film industry taught him deep resilience. Rebuilding an entire acting process from scratch, that remains the ultimate cinematic comeback story. And the truly exciting part, the guy is just getting started.
You're goddamn right.
That is my take on the evolution of Bobby Deol, not the star, but the actor. From the golden boy of the 90s to a national punchline to delivering the kind of performances that silence every single troll, Bobby Deol has come a long way. Which is your favorite Bobby Deol movie to date? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already and check out our latest video about the Prashant Neel trilogy right here. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.